We got a couple days left before we get to that moment where Luka will have that opportunity. I know you've been wildly optimistic, as have others, that Lakers are in a good position to sign Luka to some type of deal. Just out of curiosity, any idea what you think would make sense for Luka, and keeping in mind that he can hit that 10-year after 3 years and then make that Supermax? Is that the most logical, or are those details, do those not even matter right now? It's more about understanding that the fact that Luka could potentially sign a long-term deal with the Lakers is the most important piece.
I think you do start with the last statement you made, that the most important piece here is that the Lakers, as I've reported, and I continue to feel that way, the Lakers are going to secure a multi-year commitment from Luka this weekend, which is great because obviously you still probably do the trade when it's presented to you. But when you part with Anthony Davis and Max Christie and a future first rounder, you hope that it's for more than just a season and a half. That was the risk that they took on when they made the trade if they did not receive an extension agreement from Luka here. As for the first part of your question, again, these are wild numbers, and it's insane in some sense for me to suggest that it would be better for Luka to sign a 3-year deal versus a 4-year deal and leave $64 million on the table. If he did sign a 4-year deal, hey, more power to you. I'm not going to besmirch anyone for making an extra $64 million guaranteed. But should he decide to sign a 3-year deal in the $160 million range, as you mentioned, in the summer of 2028, he'll have 10 years of service, at which point he'll be eligible for a Supermax contract with the Lakers. And Bobby Marks, our front office insider at ESPN, is estimating that contract based on projections for the salary cap will be worth in the range of 5 years, $370 million, which means at the time he would sign that deal, he will be signing the first contract that includes an $80 million season in NBA history. So basically, he becomes the first $1 million a game player in NBA history. That's pretty awesome, pretty significant. And if he was to sign a 3-year contract and continue to be the Luka Doncic we've seen thus far in his career, he would be on track to do so.
$1 million a game. Oh my gosh. By the way, that just shows, I mean, the revenue of the league, the health of the league, and their new deal that they're about to sign. If you're dropping $80 million a year, the league is doing well. Let's put it that way.
And here's a fun fact on that one, Alan, and your Laker fan audience will appreciate this.
Mm-hmm.
Magic Johnson once signed a 25-year, $25 million contract with the Lakers. And here's Luka could be signing an $80 million per one season contract. Amazing.
That's right. I remember that. I remember when, I just remember the story of it when Dr. Jerry Buss was doing what Dr. Jerry Buss does. I remember when that, at least when those stories would come out way after, but reading into some of that stuff. Okay. So we got kind of the Luka side. It's been a fun week kind of watching and seeing that article in Men's Health and just seeing what incredible shape that he's in. If I had to, I'm not telling you that the motivation is just, it's one thing. Look, I think for Luka to be the greatest version of himself, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. I mean, if across the locker room, he's seeing a dude getting ready to go into his 23rd year in the NBA, and there has never been a time that anybody said anything remotely close about LeBron's body other than what the heck is that? Like, how do you do that to your body? Just what do you make of what this offseason has been like for him, how he has transformed his body to where it is? And are some of the motivating factors, do you think that it does have an effect that you get traded from in the middle of the season when you feel like I'm going to be a Dallas Maverick for the rest of my life? Just what do you think are some of those factors, aside from just in order for him to be the absolute best version of himself, it's probably a good idea to be in better shape than he has been?
Yeah, there's many factors here. I think you start with the disappointment of the first round of the playoffs because even though Luka and others within the team didn't necessarily think that they were a dominant 3 seed going into the playoffs, recognizing that they'd only been together for a short amount of time, They expected to be going further than just the first round, and so there's the initial layer of disappointment motivating this. Then there's the idea that the 7-week injury he had with the calf
Mm.
was basically the longest he's gone since becoming a professional athlete at the age of 15 in Spain without playing basketball. And so recognizing like he doesn't want that to happen again. And so what can he do to kind of put his body in a better spot? To me, the maturity piece is not just the diet, but the fact that he started his off-season regimen without basketball. Because everything I've heard talking to people close to Luka was kind of the way to motivate him to work out would be to have some sort of basketball competition involved to keep his mind active, to keep him engaged. And in the men's health story, we read that for a month there was no basketball whatsoever. It was all body work, and to me, that's him kind of showing another level of commitment where his trainers, they don't have to turn this into a basketball game. It's he's going in to do the work, and then obviously the added dietary discipline of no gluten, limited sugar, intermittent fasting, 250 grams of protein a day. Um, I just think you're talking about a guy who he's only 26 years old, right? But reaching, I think, kind of the next level of his career as a professional at 26. And then, of course, right, he recognized that come August 2nd, there's going to be literally hundreds of $1 million at stake. And of course, the Lakers are going to have an offer for him, or I'm not going to try to pretend that wasn't going to be the case. But you want both sides to feel as good about it as possible the day you sign it. And he's doing everything he can to make the Lakers feel good about it as well.
Great stuff. And I know just kind of the insight just initially on Luka and just seeing what his summer has been like. And hopefully in the next couple of days, like you mentioned and you reported, that's just becomes part of the past, and we could all start looking towards the future for the Lakers. Thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.